Hey YouTube, Kara Twig here, bringing you guys my updated Fabled deck profile for July 2013. I've been messing around with this deck these past couple weeks, played it at locals, did pretty well with it. Thought I'd give you guys an update to what I've done to it. It's pretty fun. The whole deck uses discarding to special summon a bunch of the different Fabled monsters, so you can swarm for synchro summons. So we'll go ahead and show you guys the main deck and the extra deck, and let's go ahead and get started. I run 3 Fabled Grimro. Pretty much with this card, if I control a face-up Fabled monster, I can send this card from my hand to the graveyard to add one Fabled monster from my deck to my hand, except Grimro. So it pretty much gives the deck some consistency. You pretty much send her and get whatever Fable you need for the situation. Also run 2 Fabled Raven. Pretty much, like I said, most Fable monsters get their effects off with discarding, and Raven really helps with that. Sends them to the grave, discards them to the grave. His level goes up, whatever you special summon or whatever effect goes off really helps. And you can change Raven's level to adjust to what you need for the other Fable monsters to go into different level synchros. And I also run 3 Fabled Cerebral. His effect is pretty standard. When he's discarded to the graveyard, special summon it. So it's pretty standard, and the effect has to go off, so it doesn't miss timing, which is really nice with Fableds. Most of their effects are mandatory to go off, which I really like. I also run 2 Fabled Chawa. With this card, during your main phase, you can discard 1 Fabled monster and special summon this card from your hand. So you can use this card with Cerebral, or another card called Fabled Ganesha, go for a level 4 synchro, or another one called Fabled Luri, go for level 2. So he really leads for a lot of options for early special summoning. Plus I run 3 Fabled Ganesha, the one I just mentioned. When this card is discarded to the graveyard, special summon it. And if it's special summoned this way, it gains 200 attack, giving him 1800 attack. And it is removed from play when it is removed from the field. So you can pretty much use this card with Chawa, go for a level 4 synchro. He gets banished, so you can't recycle him with Avarice or anything, but it really helps with quick gameplays. And plus I use 2 Fabled Luri. I pretty much use this card with Chawa and other effects. When he is discarded to the graveyard, special summon it. You can go for Formula Synchron with Chawa, or you can adjust the other levels of Synchro Summons with him, since he's just a level 1. Really nice card. I run the 2 Fabled Nozochi. During your main phase, you can discard 1 Fabled monster and special summon this card from your hand. When this card is special summoned by this effect, you could special summon 1 level 2 or lower Fable from your hand. So you could pretty much, including him, get 3 special summons off, which really leads for a lot of options. He's pretty good to work around. Really like him. That's why I run 2. And I also run 3 Fabled Crews. She's kind of a tricky one, but really fun to get off. When this card is discarded to the graveyard, select 1 level 4 or lower Fabled monster from your graveyard, accept this card, and special summon it. So if she gets discarded, you could pretty much special summon any other Fabled monster in your grave that you want besides that card. Especially sometimes if you search for her using Grimro, you can use the Grimo you sent, special summon it that way, level 4. So it works pretty well. That's why I run 3. And I also use 2 Fabled Kushano. He's probably the most important Fable in the deck because he gives you the most consistent discard power. You pretty much discard 1 Fable monster to the graveyard except for Fabled Kushano to add this card from your graveyard to your hand. So as long as this card is in the graveyard, you have a discard option, whether you need it for Cruz's effect or Luri or Ganesha. You pretty much have that power, plus you get an extra card back to your hand, which is Kushano. And a quick way to get Kushano into the graveyard is with Tour Guide. Since Kushano is a Fiend-type monster, you could pretty much, first turn, use Tour Guide, summon Kushano, and then overlay into an Exceed monster of your choice, Zenmanes or Leviathan, depending on the situation. So it really helps with getting Kushano into the grave really quick. Plus, I use 2 Tricky. Pretty much use Tricky because you can discard 1 card to special summon this card from your hand. So you can discard Cerebral, have a level 7 synchro to go with that Tricky, or just hit your opponent with the Cerebral or the Tricky, whichever you find easiest. And all of the Fable monsters are light, so I run 1 Honest. Really helps during damage step. And last monster, just 1 Morphing Jar. Helps replenish the hand, plus the discarding effect really helps, so you don't really lose much when you discard Fables that special summon. And that's it for the monsters. We do have a high monster count. I think it's 28 monsters, because pretty much that's what you want in this deck, because a lot of their effects just go off together, so having a lot of monsters in your hand really doesn't bother you. For spells, I use 1 card destruction, just like I said, helps with those situations. And same goes for 2 Dark World dealings. Plus 1 Book of Moon, 1 Pot of Avarice. Since you do have a lot of monsters, you'll be using this card a lot, even early game, since a lot of them will be discarded or sent to the graveyard to get off their effects. Plus 1 Heavy Storm and 2 MST. And as for trap cards, I run 2 Torrential Tributes, pretty much just to clear my opponent's field and my own if I need to. And 2 Starlight Roads, because you do have a lot of monsters on the field at a time, so you don't want them to be torrentialed by your opponent's card effects or mirror forced or anything like that. And we'll go ahead and move on to the extra deck. I run 1 Fabled Unicorn. This card's good for tricky situations. Pretty much makes your opponent play careful, because as long as you and your opponent have the same amount of cards in hand, you can negate all spells, traps, and effect monster effects activated by your opponent and destroy them. So it's really good. Plus 1 Fabled Gudabi. If you have no cards in your hand, this card can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, so it really helps for stalling out till you get what you need. And 2 Fabled Reagan. Pretty much with this card, when this card is Synchro Summon, if you have 1 or less cards in your hand, you can draw until you have 2, so he's good for draw power. Plus he's part of the Quasar build if you were to get a Quasar out, but I don't have a Quasar at the moment, otherwise I would run one in the deck. I also run 1 Fabled Valkyrus. Pretty much you can discard 1 Fiend type monster to draw 1 card. Discard Lurie, special summon it, and get a draw. It's pretty nice. Still run 1 Formula Synchron. Like I said, it's good. The Stardust Dragon with the Starlight Road and Shooting Star Dragon. He's really easy to get off in this deck, because you're pretty easy to get Stardust out, and same for Formula, and then just go straight into Shooting Star and have a lot of control. Plus 1 Catastor, 1 Hyper Librarian, because you are synchroing a lot, 1 Gaia Knight, 1 Black Rose, 1 Ancient Sacred Wyvern, probably the best card in the whole deck, go into this a lot. And for the tour guides, 1 Zenmain and 1 Leviathan Dragon. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the deck. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and Cure Twig out.